breaking news on Mr. Karmelo Anthony. Seems like that video footage is circulating now and being released, and it wasn't quite the self-defense that everybody claimed it was.
You wake up to breaking news flashing across your phone. Karmelo Anthony's family mansion has just been repossessed. The same lavish estate that was once a symbol of success is now at the center of a high-profile criminal investigation. The reason? A financial ripple effect triggered by a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo's parents. The same parents who were once praised for raising a future superstar now find their names engraved on the wrong side of justice. The news trucks are already circling the neighborhood. From the sky, helicopters catch sweeping shots of the gated property, but it's not quiet anymore. A red-tagged notice is pasted on the front gate, and a moving truck idles just beyond the hedges. It's not police tape this time, it's the bank. And what was once a sanctuary is now officially being seized. Authorities confirmed that the house, valued at nearly $10 million, was still under mortgage. With the parents behind bars and their accounts frozen under federal investigation, the family allegedly defaulted on multiple payments. Court records show the bank moved swiftly. Some say they had no choice. Others claim the repossession is yet another layer of public humiliation, orchestrated to send a message. But to who? Inside the home, lights are off, curtains are drawn, but neighbors say a single white sedan pulled away from the garage earlier that morning. No one knows who was inside. Was it Karmelo, a relative, or someone sent to retrieve valuables before the lockout? And now people are asking, was this house really theirs to begin with, or was it all built on borrowed time? What would you do if your family's entire legacy came crashing down overnight? You see footage leak online, cell phone video taken from across the street. The Anthony estate, once pristine and towering behind stone gates, now has uniformed officials walking up the front steps. No sirens, no urgency, just quiet execution. A locksmith drills the front lock as a repo officer stands with a clipboard. The visual is stunning. This isn't a typical foreclosure. This feels like a silent takedown. Reporters on the scene whisper about what's really happening behind those doors. Some claim investigators are combing through financial documents left in a home office. Others say movers are boxing up luxury items that might be seized as part of asset forfeiture. A neighbor told local news, "It's surreal. One day it was holiday lights and celebrity cars. Now it's dead silent except for cameras and footsteps." Meanwhile, online speculation grows. Was the house purchased legally, or was it funded through the same accounts now frozen due to the murder charges? Property records show the home was bought under a family trust, but the mortgage payments, now exposed in leaked bank documents, tie back to the same accounts investigators flagged for suspicious activity. You begin to wonder, if this house is being taken, what's next? Vehicles, jewelry, college funds. And it's not just curiosity anymore. It's a question of justice. If someone in your neighborhood lost everything overnight, would you feel sympathy or suspicion? The camera zooms in just enough to catch the expression on Karmelo Anthony's face as he walks out of the courthouse later that afternoon. His eyes scan the swarm of media, but he doesn't speak. No entourage, no spokesperson, just a silent walk to the black SUV parked nearby. But what people catch isn't just the silence, it's the emotion behind it. You can tell he saw the video, the one showing the front door of the family's XM estate being pried open. Inside court, things were no better. Prosecutors laid out an updated financial timeline. In it, a flagged series of large transfers weeks before the alleged incident. Real estate agents, bank officers, and even a former housekeeper were called in to testify about the flow of money and sudden shifts in the family's lifestyle. One particularly jarring moment? A former financial advisor said on record, the mortgage wasn't even close to being paid off. Meanwhile, social media is divided. Some users post supportive messages, claiming the repossession is a witch hunt and that not even a trial's happened yet. Others are unforgiving. If you buy a mansion with blood money, don't be surprised when they take it back. Even neighbors are speaking out. One anonymous source said, there were always black SUVs, always people coming and going. We thought it was just fame, not felony. And now people are asking, was the home repossession just about finances? Or was it a calculated public move to humiliate the family before trial? Would you have done the same if you were the authorities? Or waited for the verdict? You wake up the next morning and it's everywhere. drone footage, auction listings, aerial shots of luxury furniture being carried out in silence. What was once Karmelo Anthony's proud family estate, a symbol of privacy, power, and prestige, is now being carved up like a fallen empire. Trucks line the curb, unmarked and clinical. Not even a family member in sight. Just state workers and repo agents, cataloging possessions like evidence. Then a new detail surfaces. The same home, valued at over X million dollars, was listed on a government asset recovery site hours after the lock was changed. Photos, floor plans, even a rough timeline of repossession dates. It wasn't just seized, it was prepped for seizure. This wasn't a last-minute reaction. It was a move weeks in the making. Inside sources say federal officials were tracking the home's paper trail long before the murder charges went public. An anonymous investigator even claimed, "We knew about the trust accounts. We were just waiting for the trigger," and it gets worse. One of the court exhibits includes footage from the estate's interior security cameras, footage that allegedly captured one of Karmelo's parents removing a locked metal case from a walk-in closet 2 nights before the incident. Prosecutors believe that case may have held the murder weapon. It's no longer just about the house. It's about what was inside it. And that's what has the public shaken. Because now the question isn't if justice is coming. It's how deep it already ran. And now people are wondering, was this house always a home? Or was it hiding something far darker the whole time? Would you still feel safe living next door if you knew the whole story? You hear the creak of the gavel one last time. Court adjourned. But outside? Chaos. The moment the hearing ends, reporters flood the sidewalk. One shouts, "Is it true the house was in Karmelo's name?" Another waves a folder, claiming it contains wire transfer records linked to the property's renovation just months before the murder. Across the street, neighbors line up behind yellow tape, not because they're blocked from entering, but because they want to see the fall from grace. The mansion, once a fortress of marble and silence, is now the centerpiece of a crime scene walkthrough. Footsteps echo inside empty rooms. Investigators circle the property like museum curators, but instead of art, they're cataloging secrets. According to a federal affidavit leaked to the press, this wasn't just a house, it was a financial hub. Prosecutors allege that over $2.3 million in unexplained transfers were funneled through shell companies tied to the address. The walls weren't just expensive, they were insulated with fraud. A neighbor, visibly shaken, tells reporters, "We always wondered why they had so much privacy, but no one imagined this." And just when you think the story can't go any deeper, someone leaks an audio recording. It's the family's real estate attorney, nervously whispering on a call, "Get it out of Karmelo's name now, before the indictment hits." Now the public's asking what you might be wondering too. Would you forgive your parents if they put everything you ever had at risk just to cover a crime? Would you stand by them or walk away for good? You're back in the courthouse when the moment finally comes. The judge doesn't even raise his voice. He simply says, "Repossession approved." And just like that, it's official. The XM home, once celebrated as a symbol of Karmelo Anthony's rise and his family's new beginning, is no longer theirs. You can't help but stare at Karmelo's parents as the reality sinks in. His father's lips tighten, his mother's shoulders collapse just slightly. Their lawyers don't make eye contact. No one does. It's like watching a movie scene, except it's real, and the consequences are permanent. Outside, reporters are already shouting headlines into their microphones, and one of them actually says the word foreclosure, even though it's not technically accurate. Still, that's the word being used now. Foreclosure. That's how it's being perceived by the public, and perception is everything. Inside the courtroom, a slideshow of financial records is pulled up. Monthly statements, missed payments, legal filings. You catch glimpses of them from your seat, including a wire transfer that looks eerily similar to one tied to the murder investigation. One of the prosecutors even makes a point to mention the uncanny financial overlap between the weapon purchase and the last mortgage payment. It's not officially part of the trial, but the implication is crystal clear. And now people are wondering, was the home bought as a cover, a financial distraction, or simply a coincidence at the worst possible time? What do you think? If you saw the same payment pattern, would you speak up, or would you assume it's just bad timing? Because now, with every document, every video, every bank record, the walls around this story aren't just crumbling, they're collapsing. You're standing outside the Anthony estate, but something feels different now. The sleek gates are wide open. The once pristine lawn is marked with tire tracks from government vehicles, and towering above it all is the familiar red and white sign, "Repossessed." You hear whispers from neighbors who've stepped out onto their driveways, pretending to water plants or check their mail. One mutters, "It happened so fast." Another shakes their head and says, "Should have seen it coming." No one says these things loudly, but you can feel the tension. That strange mix of curiosity, judgment, and unease that happens when a neighborhood secret becomes national news. Then the moving trucks start backing in. They're not subtle. Huge, boxy vehicles with no branding. Plain, almost ominous. Workers in generic uniforms start hauling things out. A couch, a television, framed family photos. One pauses for a second, looks at a dusty portrait of the Anthony family, then sets it face down on the truck floor. You can't tell if it's intentional or not. Meanwhile, across the street, a small group of protesters begins to gather. They're holding signs with phrases like "Justice for Metcalf" and "No mansion for murderers." A few onlookers record them on their phones, feeding the frenzy online. One of the neighbors leans over and asks you under their breath, "Do you think they'll seize anything else?" And you wonder, is this just the beginning? If more evidence surfaces, could other properties, accounts, even inheritance plans be frozen or stripped? It raises an unsettling question for anyone watching. If your entire life unraveled in front of your neighbors, what would they say? Would they defend you or distance themselves? You're watching dusk settle over what used to be a symbol of success. But tonight, the Anthony estate is just another address caught in a storm of scandal. As the last moving truck slams its doors shut, the sound echoes down the street like a final verdict. A solitary light flickers on in an upstairs window. No one is supposed to be inside, but for a moment, you wonder if someone's still clinging to the life they once lived here. Maybe it's Karmelo himself, back from a silent trip home. Maybe it's just a worker doing one final sweep. Or maybe it's symbolic, a reminder that some shadows don't vanish with the headlines. Police tape hasn't been put up, but the energy feels the same. The lawn, once manicured and lush, is now trampled and dull. A news van drives by slowly, snapping shots of the now empty driveway. They don't even stop anymore. There's nothing left to film. Across social media, comments are pouring in beneath the latest update. House gone, family gone, legacy ruined. Some express sympathy, others are brutal, but most just ask one thing: what happens next? You stand there a little longer as another SUV rolls up. Out steps a man in a black suit holding a tablet, likely a financial official, maybe someone from the state. He looks up at the house, sighs, and walks toward the door like he's done this 100 times. And now, people are asking the question that haunts every case like this. Does justice end with prison, or does it keep erasing everything that came before? Would you want your childhood home taken if it meant accountability was fully served?